All right, now we're cooking. Oh, let's get to it, man. Let me put this phone on do not disturb. No, not sleep. Do it till tomorrow morning. Perfect. All right, we'll put that over there. Started with a little Google. Okay, cool. All right, as always, thanks for tuning in. It's I'm gonna be honest, man. Like I'd say today is particularly difficult for me. It's 8 o'clock. I'm tired. I had a long day at work. I really, I really was looking for every reason to make sure I'm on the right thing. I really was looking for every reason under the sun not to do this. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna even hold you. I was looking for everything. Like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I don't know. I don't have this. I don't have that. I want to do this. I just want to relax. But the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So I'm here. I'm tapped in. I'm gonna give you everything I got. I will say this stream probably won't be as long as the others, but I'm not missing a night. And I did feel particularly I did feel a little bit of inspiration when I got onto like social media for a quick second. Gotta remember what I'm looking at. When I got on the social media for a quick second and I saw like some other creators just doing their thing, which brings me to an interesting point, I guess, just for a quick introduction. Like, um, you gotta follow people that are doing what you want to do. I think it's just like how they say about your friends, you need to be friends with people that are doing the type of work you want to do. I think you need to be following people that are um I think you need to be following people that are doing the type of work and are motivational, not necessarily just fine chicks or dudes that's in the gym or, whatever. Um, follow people follow people that's doing what you want to do. Because like I said, man, I saw this guy on there and he was doing this thing and I was like, man, you know what? I got no excuse not to do it. It's just me. It's just me and my lady. I got no kids right now. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, hey, put the work in, man. Like, you tired for sure, but everybody tired. Everybody got a lot going on. Everybody got things they trying to do and trying to accomplish. Like, you're not alone here. So put the work in, keep going, keep moving. That's my introduction for the day. My introduction is, no matter how you feeling, if you say you're gonna do something, do it. It's like the Kobe effect. And I feel like that's what I had to will myself to today. I'm like, man, I don't feel like doing it. I'm tired. All these excuses, but I'm here. I'm showing up and we're gonna get it going. So, all right, what do we got today? Well, I guess as I'm gonna talk about every week, obviously every week, I will not miss a week. I had this idea today though. I said, I'm gonna stream every week, and this is a small goal, big goal, monumental goal, but it's a small goal that kind of gives me something to work towards. I said I'm going to stream every week until I'm a New York Times bestseller. And at that point, I'm not going to stop, obviously, because if I put in all that work to get there with my book, and not necessarily saying it has to be this book, just in general, I'm going to stream weekly until I'm a New York Times bestseller. And something about that goal, something about that just kind of resonated with me. It made me feel like, yeah, that's a good one. So here we go. Once a week until I'm a New York Times bestseller. I don't know how long that's going to take. Could be 5 years, could be 20 years, but I'm doing this once a week and I'll keep growing with the times and keep changing with the times, but once a week. Anyway, I bring this book up to show it to you, man, because this is like the official joint. Like official. It feels nice. There's no not for resale in it. If you look at the back, it got my publishing company down here, something I'm super proud of. That's LS Prestige. See the logo on the side. This is a piece of work that I am extremely proud of, man. And I can't wait to read the excerpt for the night. I don't know what it's gonna be, but whatever it is, I can't wait to read whichever one we end up doing. So let's get started. I want to start with a human interest piece. It's Black History Month, so I'm staying consistent with that. Um, I don't know. I don't know who to do, so I'm gonna find somebody else out of this book. Last week we did Essex Hemp Hill. That looked pretty good. It did pretty good in terms of engagement, like on the back end. So I'm gonna just dive right back into it. Do that again. I wonder if I should put this on Instagram again and let people know I'm up in here trapping. Um, hmm, what y'all think? I'm saying what y'all think, like somebody up in here, just in general. I wonder. I wonder if I should do that again. Let me see if I can take a nice picture. Oh man, I'm dropping my phone and everything. Let's see. See if I can take a nice picture real quick. If I can get a good picture out of this, I'm in. From the top angle. You know what I ain't done? I knew something was off. I ain't set the feng shui. All right, now we ready to stream. Make sure I'm looking halfway presentable. Now we ready. It's something about that feng shui, man. Like, yeah, now we looking like we ready. Now we looking like we ready. Back at it. Make sure that joint line. Head down a little bit back. Yeah, right there looks solid. I don't know if I like that one. I'm liking this. Yeah, that one works. Yeah, I think I might throw that up there real fast. Let's just see. Let's see what we got. Sorry, I had to respond to some of these DMs real quick. I was looking for. I'm responding to DMs specifically because I need the damn link. Let me go on YouTube. I'm specifically responding because I needed for these DMs because I had asked the people I follow and the people who follow me over on Instagram. I've been trying to do stuff on Twitter, but I mean not Twitter, on YouTube, but not YouTube, TikTok. I've been trying to do stuff over on TikTok and it ain't been working like that. But I had asked people, I was like, hey yo, if you here we go. Boom. Boom. Yeah. Doing some research. Some research. Hmm. Thursday every Thursday. Every Thursday until every Thursday. Count on it. Every Thursday. Bank on it. I need a caption. Every Thursday. Count on it. Every Thursday. Bank on it. Every Thursday. Every Thursday. Every Thursday for a minute. Catch me every Thursday. Catch me every Thursday. Rock with me every Thursday. I don't know. Every Thursday. I will every Thursday, although I wasn't feeling it today. I'm showing up. That's too much. I showed up. Let me see what that look like. Every Thursday. No, just say every Thursday. Back at it. Back at it. Back at it. Every Thursday. Yeah, I'm with that. I probably need to put this in black. Sorry, y'all. Bear with me. And when I say y'all, I'm talking about people who watching this on the back end. Because obviously, let me see what that looks like. Nah, white don't work. I know pink ain't gonna work, so it's gotta be white. Back at it. Back at it every Thursday. I'm with it. I'm with that. What it do, my boy? All right, cool. Let's get some copyright tunes, some free tunes going, man. I need something to listen to. I got that up. Let me make sure that shit is out there. Yeah, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, cool. And I got that on Do Not Disturb. Now, what was we about to find? Some tunes to listen to. Some copyright tunes to listen to. That's what we did last week. I like lighters, man. Pyro, I guess. People told me that because I like fire and stuff too. Let's see what we got out here. Copyright. I need to start just getting some beats from my friends. Cause I want nah, I ain't gonna be able to play this stuff. I know they ain't gonna let me play it without copyright. Copyright free lo-fi. But I do got like that would be smart to just make a playlist with like a lot of my friends' beats and just use those. Not a bad idea. Um let's see, 1 hour. All right, cool. That'll work. Now, let's figure out let's figure out who we looking up this week. Cause we're gonna start with human interest. All right. This is interesting though. Here, this is what this says. Here in one collection, I'm reading. You already know what I'm reading. Here in one collection of photographs is a stunning rebuke of the presumption, still alive in some quarters, that African Americans are not people of letters, that we have made no contributions of significance to the nation's literary canon. In the following pages, you will find portraits of some of the best writers of our time, and they are black. Right there. I'm just kind of skipping around here. But the best known by far, hold on, let's go back a little bit. In 1761, with publication of his religious poetry, Jupiter Hammond, a slave in New York. Yes, New York. I did not know. I guess I did know New York had slaves, but you think about, like, you don't think about slavery and think about New York. But obviously, if I remember right, they said the Civil War, one of those wars. Which war was fought over slavery? Yeah, the Civil War. Okay, I thought that was the Civil War. The war fought over slavery was the American Civil War. The central conflict leading to the war was a dispute over whether slavery should be allowed to expand into new territories, with the southern states heavily relying on slave labor and wanted to preserve the institution, while northern states largely opposed it. So yeah, I guess I could see New York had slaves, but it's just interesting to read it aloud. Like, oh, I guess they did have slaves. Anyway, Jupiter Hammond was a slave in New York. Yes, New York. Became the first American of African descent to be published. Jupiter Hammond. Never heard of him. Gotta learn your history, man. Not Jupiter, history. Jupiter Hammond. All right, so this brother, this man, this Negro, African America's first Negro poet, Jupiter Hammond of Long Island. Who knew? See, you're going to learn something over here, man. I almost want to do a human interest on this brother today. So, all right, let's write his name down. We might do Jupiter Hammond. All right. Jupiter Hammond. We're going to write him down. Might be who we do. All right. Back to it. Jupiter Hammond was a slave in New York. Yes, New York. Became the first American of African descent to be published. But critics were not charitable towards his work, dismissing it as having faulty syntax and forced rhymes. I was going to say something there, but all right, whatever. Lucy Terry is generally considered America's first black poet. Lucy Terry. Fair skin makes sense. They probably a little more accepting to this. She looked white almost, low key. Clearly somebody was sneaking out back. This is sad when you think about this stuff, man. But 1730 to 1821 is what this is saying. Bar fights. Lucy Terry Prince. I like that kind of stuff, though. Lucy Terry Prince, poet, activist, University Theater. Lucy Terry, okay. Write her name down, too. We're doing a live human interest piece on one of these. We're going to figure it out along the way. But we got Lucy Terry so far. We got Jupiter Hammond. These are regardlessly widest. So Jupiter Hammond and Lucy Terry. Put this back up here. Lucy Terry and Jupiter Hammond are right now largely regarded as the first two black poets. Okay. She wrote of an Indian massacre in Deerfield, Massachusetts, in a poem called Bar Fights. We were just looking at Bar Fights. This one. Okay. In a poem called Bar Fights. The autobiography of Gustavus Vassa, published in 1789, is also placed in the American literary canon, though it was released in London. Vassa, born in 1745 in southern Nigeria, was kidnapped and enslaved at the age of 11 and shipped to the Americas. Wow. wow. For the longest time, like this is getting dark early. This is getting very dark early. But for the longest time, I did not like slave movies. My pops, God rest his soul, my pops used to make me watch them when I was a little kid. And not make me watch them, but there was just like a couple of them he really forced me to watch. And they kind of made me like, I don't watch that. So for the longest time, I had never seen any of them. And the first one I saw in a very long time was 12 Years a Slave. And ironically, in 12 Years a Slave, dude was kidnapped, forced into the slave trade, ultimately became a slave. That, man, it just makes you think and just feel for how many people were in similar situations and never made it out, right? Who never was able to write to anyone. Nobody ever heard from them again. They just assumed they died or something like that. Like, can you imagine just being free one moment and then the next moment you just getting traded into the slave trade? And like, boy, that'd be enough to drive you crazy, enough for you to commit suicide. Yeah. All right. But the best known by far of America's earliest Black authors is Phyllis Wheatley. Now I've heard this name, which is interesting. All right, let's see about Miss Phyllis Wheatley. It's cool because like it seems like a lot of women were the early writers. You would have thought it was a lot of men just based off the social norms at the time, which is actually something we're gonna talk about on today's stream. When I get to that section for the book, I'm gonna talk a lot about the historical context of the book, the social constructs of the book, like the rigidity of the times of the book, et cetera, et cetera. But going back to the human interest story first, Phyllis Wheatley, it is interesting that a lot of the first poets, writers in the Black space were women. You would think it was men just because of the times that we came up in. But anyway, she's West African. Phyllis Wheatley, who was a sensation in American literary circles around the time of the Revolutionary War. Born in Senegal on the West African coast in 1753, Phyllis, as she was later named by her master, was kidnapped and sold into... Bro, what is up with that, fam? Like, kidnapped and sold into slavery as a frail child of 7 or 8. Luckier than most slaves, she ended up in the household of John Wheatley's, a prosperous Boston tailor whose wife recognized the girl's intelligence and taught her to read and write. Much of Wheatley's poetry was religious in nature, but she also wrote pieces that honored famous people. Her poem, His Excellency George Washington, written in 1775, prompted a personal note from Washington to Wheatley. By the 1800s, African Americans were publishing pamphlets and newspapers, the best known of which is Frederick Douglass's North Star. Obviously, Frederick Douglass is one. All right. It's powerful prose. Okay. The writers you will see in the following pages, in the pages that follow, those traditions of storytelling, of preaching, of pamphleteering. Assembled here are paragraphs of poets, novelists, playwrights, polemicists. I don't even know what a polemicist is. I need to look that up. I have no idea what a polemicist is. Polemicists. Polemicist. That's hard. I didn't know that.
Polemicist.
I'm pronouncing that way wrong. I said polemicist. It's polemicist. Polemicist. Okay. All right. Where was we at? Assembled here are photographs of poets, novelists, playwrights, polemicists, and accompanying the photographs is insightful text written by Linda Coolish. Essays that add context and texture to the pictures. All right. Polemicist. But yeah, going back to that though, a person who engages in controversial debate. I like to consider myself a polemicist. It's a good word. So we got I don't know, Will Alexander, Robert Allen, Maya Angelou. This is who I was looking for the other day when I was telling y'all this brother. This is who I was looking for the other day. What side is the picture on? Picture's on this side. Amiri I think that's Baraka, maybe. Amir Baraka. I got this from him. There's a section in my book where I use these like just random words or letters that he put together to make like different sounds, you know. It's we want poems that kill, assassin poems, poems that shoot, guns, poem that wrestle cops into alleys and take their weapons, leaving them dead, with tongues pulled out and sent to Ireland. Knockoff poems for dope selling wops or slick half whites, politicians, airplane poems. Setting fire, setting to death, Whitey's ass. Right. Specifically, what I took from that I wanted to use into my own writing was like, I used this section where one of my characters, Mississippi Red. This is gonna be a good episode. This is gonna be a good stream because I'm gonna get into a lot of these characters today too. Where we at with it? Frankie's interlude. Nah, this happened in. Nah, one sleight of hand. It had to be up in here somewhere. Right here. Yeah. All right. Boom. So compare what I did to what he wrote. So Amir Baraka is where I got this from, right? So he as Baraka moved further into black radicalism, the loose poetic form he had inherited from the beats dissolved together. Language itself sometimes slipped into logocentric moorings. Any hint at a la pour l'art dissolved by Baccarat's rage. And then this is where I just read to you. We want poems that kill, assassin poems, poems that shoot guns, poems that wrestle cops into alleys and take their weapons, leaving them dead, with tongues pulled out and sent to Ireland. Knockoffs, poems for dope selling wops or slick hair half whites, politicians, airplane poems. I think that's like the helicopter sound. Gotta work on my pronunciation. Can't even make that crap go that fast. Setting fire and death to Whitey's ass. He was clearly on that time. But compare that to kind of what I wrote here, right? Like I was very inspired by that. So a lot of these black artists are intertwined into this work. And it's things like this, little things like this that I'm that I'm proud of. So you got do I want to say that? Nah, because that'll give away too much. A tense hush blanketed the room, leaving everyone frozen as they absorbed the shocking turn. I hear it. I feel the music, the beat, the sound, the rhythm. Red's voice trembled and became absorbed in his own trance. Boom, boom, cha-cha-cha-cha-choo. He seemed possessed by the music pulsing through him, each sound reverberating like an unspoken truth. But none of it's mine, he sighed, his face twisting with frustration. To the world, I'm just the backup, the shadow. I was never going to be a star. It's just like I said, little things like that, man, that I just was able to like intertwine into the book that just make me so doggone proud of it. And just how like I feel like I've poured a lot of our people and our ancestry and our history of black writers into this book. But I'm glad I was able to find that. This was last stream. You can go back and look at it last stream. I was trying to find where I got those sounds from, and it ends up being from Amiri Bakara or Baraka maybe. Either Bakara, Baraka. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. Bakari, Baraka, one of the two. Paul Beatty, Gwendolyn Brooks, Ed Bullen, Barbara Christian. I think I'm gonna do one of these, man. Just see if anybody stand out to me. Angela Davis was big. Angela Davis might be a good one just because I know a lot of people like her. And I personally, I'm gonna be honest, I personally don't know a ton about Angela Davis. The name says a lot and the name holds weight, obviously. But in all fairness, I don't think I know a ton about Angela Davis. These are some good names. Giovanni, Jewel, Rosa Guy. I got Essex Hemphill, Charles Johnson, June Jordan. I love the name June. Jamaica Kincaid. Jamaica Kincaid is a good name too. That's where I stopped. Andre Lord. Audrey Lord. Excuse me. Let's just see what Audrey Lord has to say. Audrey Lord. This is her for people who are wondering. I'll pull her up on the actual thing too. Oh yeah, I forgot. You can see my screen right here. Polemicist.
Yeah.
This is who I'm looking at right now, though, so you can actually get a good context for Audre Lorde. All right. Anyway, the feminist vision which informs Audre Lorde's poetry is more than subversive. It's incendiary. Incendiary? I don't know. In poetry and prose, that is as compelling for its ethical vision as it's for its language. Lorde dares to imagine a changed world, insisting for women, poetry is not a luxury. It's a vital necessity of our existence. It forms the quality of light within which we predicate our hopes and dreams towards survival and change, first made into language, then into ideas, then into more tangible actions, reversing the racist stereotypes connotating darkness with fear, hatred, and death. Her poems associate blackness with strength, integrity, beauty, vision, and magic. That's all right there. Incendiary. I think that's incendiary. Let me look that up on another one. I think that's how you pronounce that, because I should read that back. I lost the word that fast. Oh, there it is.
Incendiary.
Incendiary. Okay, I went too far off. Incendiary. Designed to cause fires. Interesting.
Incendiary.
That is not what I thought that meant. Designed to cause fires. Incendiary. A feminist vision. Audrey. I keep wanting to say Andre. Audrey. Let's go back here. I keep wanting to say Andre. Anyway, Audre Lorde or Lorde. Lorde. I just be having to know, man. I like knowing, bro. I'm sorry, man. I know I keep going back and forth. Lord. How do you pronounce?
We are looking at how to pronounce the name of this Kiwi singer or singer from New Zealand. We're going to be looking at how to say more interesting and often mispronounced music celebrity names too. So make sure to stay tuned and consider subscribing for more.
Come on now, I don't want to hear all that.
Do you pronounce it? In British English, it is said as Lord. Lord. In American English, it is usually said as Lord.
Lord. I did listen to all that just to hear Lord. Anyway, Audre Lorde. Audre Lorde. The feminist vision which informs Audre Lorde's poetry is more than submersive. It's incendiary. In poetry and prose, that is as compelling for its ethical vision as its language. Let me start over. Audre Lorde. The feminist vision for which. Here we go. Audre Lorde. The feminist vision, which informs Audre Lorde's poetry, is more than submersive. It's incendiary. For poetry and prose that is as compelling for its ethical vision as its language, Lorde dares to imagine a changed world, insisting, open quote, for women, poetry is not a luxury. It is a vital necessity for our existence. It forms the quality of light within which we predicate our hopes and dreams towards survival and change, first made into language, then into ideas, then into more tangible actions, end quote. She might be worth looking up. But I think for today's human interest piece, I need to go more popular. Not because I necessarily want to go popular, but I just think, oh, we all know Toni Morrison. She like super popular. I remember one time I said on Instagram, I had put up a story. I was like, don't shoot me. I don't know who Toni Morrison is. And like 3 or 4 black people went to me and they said, bro, if you finna call yourself a writer, don't ever say that again. And I made it a point that day. And I went to Barnes and Noble and I bought 3, don't let me lie to you, 2 of her books. I bought The Bluest Eye. And the second one was Songs of Solomon, King of Solomon. The Solomon joint. It was good too. Both. I ended up finishing the Solomon one. I think it's Songs of Solomon. But somebody, verify that if you listening to this. But I ended up finishing that one on the audio. All right, yeah. First and foremost, let's figure out who we gonna look up. All right, so we got, matter of fact, when in doubt, oh, Chat GPT. I know y'all be using it. I'm streaming. Which of these writers, good human interest piece? I'm doing the research live. I just be talking to GPT. I'm doing the research live. Jupiter Hammond. Lucy Terry. Frederick. I don't want to do Frederick Douglass for some reason. I feel like we just know a lot about Frederick Davis. Pick one. I be coming here because I'm indecisive. That's really why I'm here. Okay. I'd go with Lucy Terry. Her story is incredibly compelling. She's credited with creating one of the earliest known works by an African American poet in colonial America. Her life and work offer okay, let's do it. Lucy Terry it is. Lucy Terry it is. All right. I wonder if Lucy Terry is in this book. Let's check that. She is not in the book. So there's that. So anyway, let's check it out. All right, Lucy Terry. What do we got here? Let's start with who is Lucy Terry? Lived a long life too. Lucy Terry Prince, 1732, 1821. This is a line to read, boy. At the age of 5, she became the property of Captain Ebenezer Wells of Deerfield, Massachusetts. Around the age of 16, Lucy Terry responded to a 1746 Indian ambush of 2 white families in a section of town known as the Bars by composing the ballad poem Bar Fights, which earned her local acclaim. She remained enslaved until 1756, when Elijah Prince, a prosperous free black man, purchased her freedom and married her. He a boss. Let's look him up, man. Like, you gotta get lucky, man. I got any pictures of him? He kind of looked like this him right here. Who in the hell did this Twitter account, brother? Y'all see this? Lucy is the boo thing. Started from the bottom. This is nuts. Bro, this is nuts. Damn. Wow. If you interesting. I just gotta put that up there one more time. Like, y'all gotta see that. If you didn't, check the screen. Like, really check the screen, bro. Did you see this? Fuck your soup stones. Lucy be all up on this when we was hiding. I really got them properties because I'm alone. Y'all cracker. I mean, who is tweeting these 5 tweets, bro? Like, but they had nothing. Started from the bottom. Now we in good guild for it. People have no time on the internet. A prosperous free black man purchased her freedom and married her. In 1760, the Princes moved to Guilford, Vermont, where Lucy Terry Prince gained local renown as a storyteller and orator while educating her 6 children. A courageous, eloquent activist, Prince worked hard not only to survive economically, but also to protect her family from racist harassment and vandalism. She agitated, unsuccessfully, for her oldest son. Agitated, yeah. Unsuccessfully for her oldest son to be admitted to William College. Widowed in 1794, Lucy Terry Prince moved to Sunderland, Vermont, where she died in 1821. Lemuel Haynes preached an anti-slavery sermon at her funeral in which he predicted that despots and racists, tyrants and oppressors would sink beneath Terry's feet, a witty reference to her poetry. Got to read one of her poems. What is out here? Was a poet, storyteller. Like, I love that. I love, like, the fact of just being a storyteller. That's hard to me, man. Like, I like to tell a good story. You know what I mean? I like to tell a good story. And I ain't that good at telling stories yet, but I like to tell me a good story. All right. She was baptized a Christian at the age of 5 with the approval of her owner, Ebenezer Wells of Deerfield. We knew about that. Was considered a born storyteller and poet. Her only surviving work, the poem, wow. Let's see if we can find this. I need it. I got to get it. I'll buy it if I need to, whoever owns it. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Bar Fights. This is by Lucy Terry Prince. Let's see what we got, man. Went to whistle. You have to excuse me. I'm skimming through it. But this some I'm about to sound like old Webby if I matter of fact. Let me just man, I ain't trying to poke fun at my boy. But just so I don't feel too bad, I'm about to have to go and listen to this real quick, man. Cause boy, this was funny, man.
Webby, I need you to go in the studio and do some drums at Breakfast Club, man. DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. You already know what it is. Thank you.
DJ Envy,
Oh.
Angela Yee, and Saleh, my God. Let me just read that for. God damn, girl. Y'all got some names on that now. What up, everybody know who it is. It's me, Webby the Tree. I found Young Savage, Sweet
Jones Jr. Doing what I'm doing when I'm doing it.
With my girl, DJ Envy, Angela Yee. Damn. Hold up. DJ Envy, Angela Yee.
And Charlamagne gay.
Man, hold up. Oh, Charlamagne. DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlamagne.
The God.
DJ Lee. Hold up. DJ Envy, Angela Lee, and Charlamagne.
They wrong for putting envy on Angela Yee by the DJ Lee. Is crazy though. All right. Anyway, let me struggle through this. Bar fights. They said this was. What does this say? All right. Lucy Terry Prince. The poem first composed by Lucy Terry Prince was also the first poem as recorded written by an African-American woman, Bar Fights. When Lucy was around 22 years old, two neighboring families were killed in an Indian attack in the section of Deerfield, Massachusetts called the Bars, the colonial term for meadows. Lucy Terry Prince later wrote a ballad poem called Bar Fights. The poem was recited or sung for a century before it was published in 1855. Such captivity narratives were popular during the colonial period, and an alternative version of bar fights was still recalled near the end of the 19th century. So this is kind of a song too, so I probably definitely want to do this. August was the 25th, 1746. The Indians did not ambush lay. Some were valiant men to slay. 'Twas nigh until Sam Dickinson Mills. The Indians their 5 men did kill. The name of whom I'll leave out. Samuel Allen like a hero fought. And though he was so brave and bold, his face was no more shall we behold. Leeser Hawks was killed outright before he had time to fight. Before he did the Indian see, was shot and killed immediately. Oliver Amundsen he was slain, which caused his friends much grief and pain. Simon Amsden they found dead, not many rods from Oliver's head. Unjagal Gillett, we do hear, did lose his life, which was so dear. John Sadler fled across the water, and thus escaped the dreadful slaughter. Eunice Allen see the Indians coming, and hoped to save herself by running. And had not her petticoats stopped her, the awful creatures had not crotched her, not Tommy hawked her on her head, and left her on the ground for dead. Young Samuel Allen, oh lack a day, was taken and carried to Canada. Interesting. Analysis. The poem is a straightforward account of a deadly ambush by Native Americans in 1746. It lists the names of the victims and describes the circumstances of their deaths, as well as their escape of one survivor. Excuse me. The poem provides a glimpse into the dangers faced by settlers in frontier areas during this period. Compared to other works from the time, it's notable for its focus and the experiences of ordinary people rather than historical figures and grand events, reflecting the growing emphasis on individualism and personal narratives in American literature. So that was really her only poem, they said. I mean, obviously she wrote more than that, but they said that's the one that survived her. Interesting, man. So we don't know a ton about her. Yeah, that's the only one that's out there. Let me see. Let me see if there's any other poems. And the name was Lucy Terry poem. I'm just gonna see what else is out there. Oh, this is some Etsy stuff. Yeah, just keep going back to that. She won her case. Hmm. Yep. Okay. Never mind. Let me see. Let me just look up Angela Davis too. Everybody love Angela Davis. I know back in that day it had to take forever for them to pick out this hair. I know it did. You're not telling me it didn't. To get it that, and then like if somebody was cutting that, this is tough. Angela Yvonne Davis is one of the most recognized political activists of the 1960s and 1970s. She rose to national attention in 1969 after being removed from her teaching position at the University of California, Los Angeles, for her membership in the Communist Party at the urging of then California Governor Ronald Reagan. In 1970, Davis was charged as an accomplice to conspiracy, kidnapping, and murder. Her arrest sparked international campaign to gain her release. In 1972, after a high-profile trial, she was acquitted of all charges. Davis was the vice presidential candidate for the Communist Party of the United States in 1980 and the 1984 presidential elections. Description: age 26, born January 26, 1944, Birmingham, Alabama. Did y'all know back in the day they used to refer, like, Birmingham was so bad in terms of just like racism and how bad the police were and stuff like that. They used to refer to it as Bombingham, not Birmingham, Bombingham. Crazy. Height 5'8", weight 145 pounds, build slender, hair black, occupation teacher, scars and marks, small scars on both knees, eyes brown, complexion light brown, race Negro, nationality American. Wanted by the FBI. Oof. Hey, you research, kids. You gotta know this stuff, man. You gotta know this stuff. In 2020, let me see if I can see this article. No, I just want to see it, bro. I hate like paywall stuff. I just want to see that article. Free Angela and all political prisoners. In 1997, Davis came. I didn't know she was lesbian. In 1997, Davis came out as lesbian during an interview with Out magazine. Since then, she has continued to tackle oppression faced by Black community, women, and the LGBTQ plus community. After spending time traveling and lecturing, Davis returned to teaching. She served as a professor at the University of California, Santa Cruz, where she taught courses on history and consciousness. Her interest in prisoner rights led her to found Critical Resistance, an organization working to abolish the prison industrial complex. Davis is the author of several books, including Women, Race, and Class, 1983, and Are Prisons Obsolete, 2003. Well, I'm gonna see if she got any poems. Or she all just she was most famous for her involvement with the Soledad brothers, who were accused of killing a prison guard. During George Jackson's trial in August 1970, an escape attempt was made at gunpoint and several people were killed. Davis was accused of taking part in the event and was charged with murder. Evidence showed that the guns were registered to her. And rumors said she was in love with Jackson, which later proved untrue. Davis went into hiding and was placed on FBI's most wanted list. She spent 18 months in jail, which led to the Free Angela Davis campaign and the Angela Davis Legal Defense Committee. In response, John Lennon and Yoko Ono wrote Angela, and the Rolling Stones wrote Sweet Black Angel. Never knew that. Cause I never knew like what the deal was with her. I know she was like super profound and stuff like that, but I never knew like what it was about. I don't know, probably just through passing, I always figured it was something about like the Black Panther Party or something of the sort. But it's interesting to know like exactly what it is. Their Wikipedia right here, so you know you gotta take that with a grain of salt. We talked about Birmingham, Apostacle, Dynamite Hill. Everything with Birmingham with bombs, boy, bombs over Baghdad. All right. Davis occasionally spent time on her uncle's farm and with friends in New York City. Okay, so she had that big city life. Her siblings include two brothers, Ben and Reginald, and a sister, Fania. Ben played defensive back for the Cleveland Browns and Detroit Lions in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Nice. Davis's mother, Sally Bell Davis, was a national author and leading organizer for the Southern Negro Youth Congress, an organization influenced by the Communist Party aimed at building alliances among African Americans in the South. Davis grew up surrounded by communist organizers and thinkers who significantly influenced her intellectual development. Among them was the Southern Negro Youth Congress official Louis E. Burnham, whose daughter, Margaret Burnham, was Davis's friend from childhood, as well as her co-counsel during Davis' 1971 trial for murder and kidnapping. Okay, so she lived in Germany too. In West Germany with a monthly stipend of $100, she lived first with a German family and later with a group of students in a loft in an old factory. After visiting East Berlin during the annual May Day celebration, she felt the East German government was dealing better with the residual effects of fascism than were the West Germans. Many of her roommates were active in the radical socialist German student union, and Davis participated in some SDS actions. Events in the United States, including the formation of the Black Panther Party and the transformation of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, to an all-black organization, drew her interest upon return. Okay. These posters are dope. Say what you want. Ticket price $12.50, $10, $7.50, $5. Patron seats $50. All patrons invited to a Meet the Stars reception prior to the concert. A victory celebration, June 29th, 7:30. The Angela Davis Legal Defense Fund. It is hard. Who knew? Oh yeah, it's a bunch of them. Wanted by the FBI. Cautious caution. Angela Davis is wanted on kidnapping and murder charges growing out of an abduction and shooting in Marion County, California on August 7, 1970. She has allegedly purchased several guns in the past considered possibly armed and dangerous. A federal warrant was issued on August 15, 1970 at San Francisco, California, charging Davis with unlawful interstate flight to avoid prosecution for murder and kidnapping. If you have any information, I bet nobody did. Free Angela Davis. See, these the type of pictures right here that make you want to continue being a photographer. Make me want to continue being a photographer. I touched my first film camera Tuesday for the first time, and it re-sparked something in me, just like looking through that little peephole, and it was all film and like no. You take the picture, you see it immediately. It made me feel so much more intentional behind that lens. It was crazy, man. These sisters got them afros, bro. Nice necklace. But I just absolutely love history, bro. Like, absolutely love it, man. And I feel like that's got to be a part of this channel moving forward, you know? Like, I'm all over the place right now, but that's got to be a part of this moving forward. Like, just knowing this type of stuff. Declare your independence. My name is Angela Davis. I'm speaking to you. Oh, yeah, it's tough. How can I get this to go away? No, I thought that was down low. All right. Angela Davis urges, declare your independence. My name is Angela Davis. I'm speaking to you as a voter. You and I know that the Democratic and Republican parties double cross us to serve big business. That's why millions do not vote. But this year you can vote for your own needs. You can cast a loud, clear vote against big business, ripoffs, and cover-ups. The Communist Party candidates fight for people's programs of jobs, education, housing, free health care, to end wars and racism. Make your vote count towards a new direction and new priorities. Hey, vote for Hall and Turner. Let me read that again to you. I'm gonna read that again for those in the back, and I'm gonna try and read this a lot more clear and eloquent. Angela Davis urges, declare your independence. My name is Angela Davis. I'm speaking to you as a voter. You and I know that the Democratic and Republican parties double cross us to serve big business that, I don't want to fuck this up, man. Okay, hold on. Let me do it again. All right. Angela Davis urges, declare your independence. My name is Angela Davis. I'm speaking to you as a voter. You and I know that the Democratic and Republican parties double cross us to serve big business. That's why millions don't vote. But this year you can vote for your own needs. You could cast a loud, clear vote against big business, ripoffs, communists. I'm tearing it up. Hold on. Yeah, this is hard, bro. That's why I want to do this right. You got to pay homage because this is a lot of what we're going through today. I'm not urging, like, let's be clear. I bring an objective opinion to this. I am no politician. I don't know that much about politics. Honestly, truth be told, I'm not very familiar with the Communist Party. But what I do like that she says is this line: you and I know that the Democratic and Republican parties double cross us to serve big business. That I do believe. Have always believed it. Will always believe it. I remember when I was real young, I was arguing with like my pops, and I ain't gonna say what side of the fence we was arguing about, but we was debating. And I was like, well, they ain't no better than them. You know, I just felt like even then, I just felt like they were all, I felt like politicians were in cahoots. I'm like, this person acting like he hate that person acting like he hate that person. But in the end, I think they working together to stay rich. I have always felt the world is a rich and poor system. I've never felt it was Republican, Democrat, independent, libertarian, whatever. I felt it was, do you have money or do you not have money? If you got money, you can buy a lot more influence and you can shield yourself from a lot more of the BS that comes with living, right? Just living. If you don't have money, you can't shield yourself from a lot of the BS that comes with living. That's just the way I've always looked at it. So anyway, Angela Davis urges, declare your independence. My name is Angela Davis. I'm speaking to you as a voter. You and I know that the Democratic and Republican parties double cross us to serve big business. That's why millions don't vote. But this year you can vote for your own needs. You can cast a loud, clear vote against big business, ripoffs, and cover-ups. The Communist Party candidates fight for the people's programs of jobs, education, housing, free healthcare to end wars and racism. Make your vote count towards a new direction and new priorities. Vote Hall and Turner. She looked, I ain't gonna say who, but she looked like this girl I know actually. Strange. They got a striking resemblance. These are good photographs though, man. Good photographs. All right, we're done with the human interest piece. I spent way more time on that than I thought I should. Crap. I'm way behind. Okay. Should I talk about this in the book today? Let me see. How long have I been rolling, man? Okay, I ain't doing too bad. Let's keep going. I just need to be cognizant of time now. Just be super cognizant of time. All right. Next thing I'm gonna talk about is all right, I'm going back to this while we're here. Hold on, let me actually. All right. Going back to this. The joint, the jam, the banger, the heat rock. What you didn't know you need. What's gonna give you a lot of context into being black. A good story is what this is. All right. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about just the overall historical context of this project. And one thing in particular that kind of stood out to me was just the 1940s. Matter of fact, let me just stay here for a second with you one to one. One thing. All right. One thing that really stood out to me when I was writing this book was the timing of it. I've said it on multiple, at least on the last stream, I've said it. And I was very intentional about the time period of this book. I wanted it to be set in this kind of Harlem Renaissance time. Although it's not set in Harlem, they visit kind of New York in the book. But I wanted it to be set in like this time of just like, not freedom, because black people were still, in my opinion, black people were still very much oppressed in that time, but we had like a lot of outlets for each other where we were kind of thriving in our own regards. This was before, a lot of the desegregation. A lot of people said, that was one of the things that really messed us up. Again, I don't know, maybe post book release, that's one of the topics we can dive into, just desegregation in general. But personally speaking, when I was doing the research on that era, it came across very much like just a time of abundance for blacks, a time for unity amongst each other, just a time for growth and and when I say partnership, I mean like it seemed like we worked really well with each other. We did like a lot of good things together. We had like a lot of fun and just good times and stuff like that. So I wanted to tie that into this, and I think I did a very good job doing it. But, some of the elements of this that I feel like carry over are still like some very misogynistic elements. There's like, a line where one of my characters says, "Oh, I've always wanted to be an artist, but my friends and family constantly remind me that women should make babies, not paint." Yes, very difficult thing to hear, but in that era, in that time frame, it's very relevant. That's very much how people thought. Like, your role is this, my role is that. As a man, I provide, I bring home the bacon. You know what I mean? I bring home the bacon. I provide, I do all of these things. Your role as a wife is to bear children, is to build the place we call home, is to be a caregiver and all of these different things. Times have changed 1000%. You know, women have now moved into the role of a lot of ways as breadwinners. Not all, obviously. I think men still out earn women. But a side note is a book I read probably like right at the onset of the pandemic. It was called 2030. This book right here. If you're interested, it's actually really good. Let me do it on this page. I want to keep Angela Davis up there. Is that right? No, 2030. Where is that at? Because I did 02 again. 2030. 2030. There it is. This book right here. How today's biggest trends will collide and reshape the future of everything. 2030. One of the trends they talk about in 2030 was the wealth shift. How women are quickly. I need a tissue. Can't be on here looking all crazy. Hold on 1 second. One of the craziest things was how they were talking about, you know, the transfer of wealth and how it's quickly becoming, you know, more heavily skewed towards women. And they're saying like women are going to be the new millionaires, billionaires of the quote unquote future. And then they're also just talking about the fall of the America dominance, right? And just the rise as we continue to worry about China, which is, I would say, probably why this presidential cycle was the way it was. And even just the presidential candidate that's in office, Trump, right? One of the things I think a lot of people, you know, I guess one of the things he's real big on is trying to preserve America's power, whether you think he's doing a good job of that, or you agree with him or not. I guess that's kind of like one of the things he's really big on is trying to preserve America's power. But a lot of that, I would say, probably is on the back of some of these trends that people are telling him, right? Like China is the new powerhouse. India is going to be one of the new powerhouses. Africa, right? Because they have a lot of resources, a lot of capital is starting to flow into them. They have a lot of raw land and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a good book if you into that kind of stuff like I am. Anyway, going back to just some of the elements of this book though, but I also wanted to put a lot of elements in it, just talking through the historical context. I also wanted to put a lot of elements in the book of, you know, like racial tension. I don't want to talk about that part. It's tough. It's tough to do what I'm doing now that I'm kind of in it. I see how hard it is to talk through the book conceptually because since it's not out and a lot of people haven't read it, it's certain things you don't want to spoil since it's a murder mystery. You know what I mean? So that part of it is a little bit difficult, but I put a lot of effort into making sure that the story had real elements, although it's a fictional book and there's a lot of black luxury in it. Like, you know, like I said, like on the first stream, very much the Black Great Gatsby. There's still a lot of realistic images in it of police brutality, of some of the same conversations we're having today, some of the oppressive conversations, the oppressive moments, some of the, again, misogynistic things. Women should make babies, not paint, you know, things like that. It's the reality of the times, right? Like, let's just see social constructs. 1930 for black people. Let's see what we got. Look at this though. We just talking about some dark stuff. This is lynching. lynchings from 1909 to 1918. My grandfather was born in 1918, if I remember right. If the state was black, that means over 50. So Texas was giving it up. Louisiana was giving it up. Mississippi was giving it up. Keep this in mind now when people be out here thinking this stuff done changed. This is the history of where we come from as a country. Now, I ain't trying to take us back in time, but I'm a firm believer of you got to know where you came from to know where you're going. That's just the way my family raised me. Again, I'm not trying to make any decisions for anybody, nor am I trying to pull us back to a place that we've desperately fought to come from. But this is the reality of what it was. If the state was very black, dark black, like as you can see on this map, they were giving it up. So Texas, where I currently reside, Louisiana, I pass through it all the time, Mississippi, home. Ironically, Alabama wasn't just trapping like that. You would have thought they were, but I guess, and they were still getting busy because they got the sliced lines through them. Georgia giving it up. Georgia might be number one on this joint, honestly. It look like Texas at 106 and Georgia at like 128. And then Florida at like 54. So anything over 50. And then the Carolinas weren't playing. Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky. Oh, it ain't sweet. It ain't sweet. Yeah, that's another story for another day though. That ain't necessarily what I was looking for, but that's an interesting thing to pull up. Let's see what this one is like. Britannica. What was African American life during the Great Depression and the New Deal? So this is around the time, the Great Depression of the 1930s. Yeah, So that's an element right there that's just not necessarily 100% true with the black luxury that I have into play on my book. The Great Depression of the 1930s worsened the already bleak economic situation of African Americans. They were the first to be laid off from their jobs, obviously, and they suffer from an unemployment rate 2 to 3 times that of whites. In early public assistance programs, African Americans often receive substantially less aid than whites, and some charitable organizations even excluded black people from their soup kitchens. Tough skating, man. In 1930s, Republican President Herbert Hoover nominated John J. Parker, a man of pronounced anti-black views, to the Supreme Court. The NAACP successfully opposed the nomination. In the 1932 presidential race, African Americans overwhelmingly supported the successful Democratic candidate Franklin D. Roosevelt. Look at that. See? Our voices are heard when we come together. This is going way back in time. This is 1932. You know what I mean? Oh, you can't see this. Can you? Heck nah, y'all can't see this. Oh, yes, you could. Could you? I don't know. My bad. If you could, my bad. I'm still learning, man. Charge it to the game. Charge it to the game. Don't charge it to my head. All right, anyway. So yeah, man, these were some of the but this is what I'm saying. This is some of the social constructs that I have littered throughout the book. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to really make it feel alive. What's this one about? 1930s, how discrimination shaped inequality in today's cities. Yeah, I've heard about like all the redlining and stuff like that. So I get that. Macon, Georgia, Birmingham, Alabama, Wichita, Kansas, Springfield, Augusta, Columbus, Newport News, Muskegon, Michigan, I'm assuming, Flint, Michigan, Montgomery, Alabama. Let's see though. Let me look up the counter to that though. Black luxury during 1930s. What was that about? If that was. There you go. They got it on. They got it on. View African American fashions, culture, and clothing at home, church, casual days, work portraits of the 1930s. So it's like suits, them white shoes. They got their hat. They rocking and rolling now. Look at that silk dress, regular dress. What's this? 1934 lace jumpsuit. Nah, this hard. Look at him. This what Frankie Keys look like. Not like this. Little more slender. That's Fats Domino though. So I'm on to something. Maybe more like this. You know what I mean? Oh, this. I wish I could blow that up. Oh yeah. Yes. We're cooking now. So, all right. So let's talk about it. So some of the characters, so we talked about like this historical, like some of the characters of this book. One of them, the main character is like Frankie. Name is Frankie Keys. And I went back and forth on naming him Frankie, but it was something about calling him Frankie that I just liked. And I went back and forth on it because of how big Snowfall is. And I know his name is Franklin, but still I was just like, another Frank. And then a friend of mine told me, there's a book written by Mitch Albrum. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. The same guy that wrote The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. He wrote Tuesdays with Maury. I think there's a book he has, The Musician or something like that, where his main character is also named Frankie Keys. Magic Strings of Frankie Pesto. Yeah. So a friend of mine had read this and she was like, oh, that's crazy. His person was Frankie. Blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever. So I never read the book though, but interesting. But interestingly enough, I called him Frankie Keys. Went on the run. You know, all that stuff is going to be public knowledge anyway. But like when he transformed himself, like this type of stuff is exactly what I was seeing. Like this is exactly, I know this is a white woman, but this is exactly kind of like how I was seeing some of the women dressed. You know what I mean? Like, yes. Like this kind of stuff. There's women in there that are, you know, being a little more seductive and things like that. These are the kind of outfits I was seeing them in. I like this a lot. Oh yeah, like this. You know what I mean? This could low key be Belle right here, Frankie wife. Like I don't know if this is somebody legit, but if like she was black, this could be like Frankie wife. This is that kind of like, so Belle is like this character. Belle is like this character where she comes from like an illustrious background. Like her parents are, or her father was a teacher. You know, he was very well regarded. He taught he was like one of the first black men to teach white children. You know, that's who my character Belle is kind of made after this person, but she's a high luxury person. She loves like high end things. She loves, you know, she loves her high end wine. She loves her pearls, her diamonds, her just materialistic things. Great heart, great wife, but definitely loves her materialistic stuff. Where Frankie has kind of got a problem. He deal with what most men dealt with in that time: infidelity and just being attentive, not pouring everything into his career. He dealt with a lot of that stuff. This is good, man. Let me see. Who else we got? You know what I'm saying? So when they came to his show, this is kind of exactly what I seen some of the women wearing when they come to his show. Like these nice long gowns. This was perfect. This one is a perfect indication of what I saw. No, even this is the perfect indication of what I saw one of the women wearing. Perfect indication. Where we at with it? Red's eyes roamed the crowd, soaking in the energy that seemed to feed his ego. He leaned back, basking in the adoration swirling around him until something, or rather someone, pulled his attention. She entered quietly, her arrival unannounced but undeniable. Her beauty wasn't loud, but it demanded recognition. Red's usual smugness slipped as he tracked her movements, mesmerized by the way she glided through the room. This is who I'm talking about. Imagine this is a more black woman. But when I wrote this, she was fair skinned, so this could kind of work. She wasn't tall, yet her presence towered, commanding attention with quiet authority. The soft glow of the light kissed her skin, perfectly complementing the deep crimson gown that hugged her frame. A high slit revealed a toned leg with each deliberate step, her effortless grace captivating all who glanced her way. Her hair, a sleek braid flowing like a ribbon of midnight, draped over her shoulders, swaying with her movements. So like, again, the high slit part, perfect. And that's just a random character. That character I just read means absolutely nothing. She's just, well, maybe she doesn't mean absolutely nothing. You'll learn more when you get to that part. But yeah, this is perfect, man. This is good. I need to see some of the fellas. I'm trying to find something that maybe looked like Kenya a little bit. Kenya is like one of Frankie's best friends. Ironically, she happens to be like his mistress. I get it, but hey, it's just the way it happened, man. This could work. Oh yeah. Here we go, from the 1930s to the 1960s. This is exactly how I saw the club setting. Exactly how I saw the club setting. I wish it was more pictures. Show off 4 photos. Yeah. Yeah, let's call this Frankie and Kenya, right? Like, probably not ideal, but yeah, you got Kenya, his mistress, Frankie. This guy look a little, singer and band leader with jazz singer and songwriter Billie Holiday. Oh, interesting. Okay. The fact that I called him a band leader in the book is crazy. Like, yeah, man, I'm cooking in this joint. I am so proud of this book, man. It's a long time coming, but boy, am I proud of it. What else we got? Guess nothing else. And then you got, who else you got? Let's see. Iceberg Slim. You don't know about Pimp. This is one of the coldest pimps from back in the day. This is kind of who I modeled Silky after a little bit. Be honest with you, there's a pimp in this book called Silky. I ain't gonna even hold you. He don't talk or nothing like Iceberg Slim, but I modeled kind of his demeanor a little bit after Iceberg, man. And if you don't know, if you're interested in just the overall business or the history of pimping, he's got a really good book. Let me see if I can find you a picture of it. This right here is a really good book. Like, if you're just interested in, it's a hard book now. Like, you got to be interested. Like, I'm a learner though. I don't know how else to describe it. I like to just know random stuff. I like to learn random stuff. I like to read about random stuff. And when I made the decision to put a pimp in my book, there's this guy. I need to text him back. I'll text him back after this. But there was a guy I used to work with years ago, and I'm a little ashamed to say this. But I was super young, probably like 19 at the time. And he was like, man, you know you could talk, boy. You know who you remind me of, man? You remind me of Iceberg Slim. I said, man, who is Iceberg Slim? And he said, man, you ought to look it up, man. You ought to look it up, man. And I never looked it up. And then like probably when I was like 26, the name came up again, just randomly. We were talking and they were like, oh yeah, Iceberg Slim, one of the coldest pimps. I was like, man, a guy told me like 7-8 years ago I need to read about Iceberg Slim. They were like, oh yeah, man, you need to check him out if you into like that kind of stuff and just how the world worked, the underworld, and just learning that type. So I picked up a book, picked up this, read about it, and was like captivated just in the pimping business in general, like how pimps go about it. It's an interesting world, man. It's an interesting life. You know what I'm saying? And don't sleep. Like pimping ain't like dead. I know that sounds funny, but don't sleep. Pimping is not dead. Like there is new age pimping happening. You know what I mean? Like pimps just maybe don't wear the suits and they ain't smacking them upside the head and stuff like that like they used to be. But like pimping is not dead, right? Like and it's cold world out there, man. And with the rise of like all these different channels, OnlyFans and stuff like that, some of these girls and guys be having modern day pimps. Because one of the things I did find interesting about this book was he talks about the female pimp too, right? That a lot of people don't know about. People automatically hear pimp and think of the male pimp. They don't think of female pimps. That is very much a thing, right? And some of the most successful pimps have been women pimps. So it ain't dead. These hitters just scared. You ever heard that phrase before? Anyway, but I built my character Silky off Iceberg Slim. Just because, like I said, I liked his demeanor and all of that was kind of cool to me. So I was like, yeah, it's gonna be Iceberg, man. Iceberg Slim. If you don't know, man, this crazy cat right here, brother. Crazy cat. He got a good story too, though. Like changed his life, turned his life around. I never read any of these. Long White Calm, The Biggest. I don't know if those separate books or what, but yeah. So, all right, I talked about Frankie to you. I talked about Iceberg Slim to you. Well, Silky, that's his name in my book. I ain't gonna worry about Christine because she's like kind of a minimal character, but that's Silky's quote unquote bottom girl. What that means in the pimping world is that's his main girl. That's dang near like his wife in the pimping business. I kind of showed you about Kenya, who she is, gave you an idea of Belle, showed you an idea of what Frankie was like. There's a character in here, Mississippi Red. I don't know. I guess you could just say David Ruffin, maybe. He not David Ruffin at all, though. Like the demeanor ain't even the same, but just like, cause his name is Mississippi Red, but he's not red. He ain't light skinned. His name is Redmond, and he from Mississippi, so they call him Mississippi Red. But he get mad all the time because people will say, hey, you ain't red. And he like, yeah, I know. No ish. I ain't red. My name Redmond. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, something like this. Meet Mississippi Red. You know what I'm saying? That Mississippi Red right there, man. It's my show, man. It's my turn. It's my turn to lead. I'm trying to perform. Mississippi Red. In any of these work. A lot of these work, actually. A lot of these work for Mississippi Red, actually. Kind of got to use your imagination. Oh, yeah, this the one. Who is this? Morris Day? I'm almost positive my cousin told me to check out Morris Day when I was coming up with this character named Johnny Dash that's in the book. He was like, check out Morris Day. Interesting. Well, yes, Mississippi Red. So Mississippi Red, Frankie, his best friend is Chubbs. Now, naturally, let me Google this, see who just comes up. This is a good one. So it's a lot of double entendres here if you're just thinking about it, right? A lot of people would think I got the inspiration from this guy. This is Drake's right hand man. His name is Chubbs. You got Nick Chubb. And like this character that I'm speaking about, Chubbs, he is a best friend business manager to Frankie, to the main character. So they are like best buds. But he's not like a bodyguard or nothing like that. But he ain't no little guy either. So that's why I'm like, this guy, I don't know who this is, but this is almost perfect. Like, I don't know what's going on with his hand there, so maybe not. But that's kind of how I see him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to find just a good picture. You know what I mean? Like, just real serious as they grow older and stuff, because they meet when they real young. But yeah, something like that. But that's the inspiration behind them. You know, you got the main character, you got this guy, whatever. So Frankie Chubbs, Kenya Bell, Silky, Mississippi Red, Jimmy. Let me give you somebody. If I had to pick a Jimmy, he's probably like this guy. So Jimmy is this character. He's super greedy. He wants the spotlight. He's a castaway. They sent him. He ended up in the fictional city because the mob wanted to get him. The mafia wanted to get him as far away from the actual business as they could. But his father was a made man. So he's got that working for him. But they wanted him far away from the actual business because they didn't trust him. He was super sloppy and, you know, whatever. So I kind of really played that character up in that regard. But I'm trying to find somebody that he could like favor, or somebody you could say, oh, that's Jimmy, you know? Yeah, I can't find nobody. Having a hard time. What do we got? Yeah, I can't find nobody for Jimmy. But anyway, you get the gist of it. One of these type guys. This guy with the glasses. You know, I don't know if he might be the main guy, but this guy with the glasses, Jimmy. You know what I mean? Right? Like that's mob guy. Yeah, that guy. So you got Jimmy, and then I think the last person that you really would need to meet is, let's just say, Judge Kincaid. He's a very pivotal character as well. Oh, this is perfect. This him right here. Like he got this long, dirty beard, mustache. It's just that's like perfect, the perfect look. Yes. Like this. Show me a big picture. Yes, Judge Kincaid. Judge Kincaid, just old grimy Joker. Beard dirty, mustache is all hanging over into his lip. Just grind. I don't know this guy. Hopefully it ain't no big guy. But yeah, Judge Kincaid, you're looking at him. This is Judge Kincaid. Okay. All right. I'm going to read a quick little excerpt, however you say that, so I can keep this thing moving. What do I want to read? What did I read last time? I don't even remember what I read last time. find something good real quick. You know what? I pay some homage. Pay some homage. Frankie laughed, cranking a smile. New Orleans always knows how to party, but trust me, Jackson's got its own magic, Red said, taking in the rolling hills and landscapes that bridged the cities. Frankie glanced back at Red with a smirk. Red, you're right. We lit the stage up tonight. We with the I forgot about this part. Okay. Frankie glanced back at Red with a smirk. Red, you're right. We lit the stage up tonight. But next time, do us all a favor and brush those teeth. It smells like a dumpster in there. The car erupted in laughter as they rolled towards Jackson. The conversation shifted naturally as Chubbs glanced at Frankie in the rearview mirror. Speaking of Jackson, do you plan on pitching any product to the locals? Chubbs prodded gently. Frankie was indifferent. I'm not sure, but I doubt it. I could use the extra cash with the judge blackmailing me, but our new client's really worth the risk. Chubbs leaned up to the front seat and said, smart thinking. We have more than enough risk in Newport. Let's focus on the music. Red chimed in. That's it, baby. Focus on the music. Keep the music front and center. The rest will follow. Just believe. Chubbs replied, you need to believe in brushing your teeth. Frankie laughed, cracking the window even further. Listen to Red, Chubbs. Frankie smiled. Listen to Chubbs, Red. Frankie smiled, but his mind was focused, his ambition clear. Jackson radiated with warmth as fans gathered, their cheers bouncing off the brick buildings. Nearby, the irresistible scent of soul food drew the men into a local diner. They stopped for a quick plate of fried chicken and collard greens, each bite steeped in rich flavors. Embracing the city's heartbeat, they decided to walk down Fair Street, where the soulful strains of jazz. Let me pull up Fair Street. That's what I need to pull up since I'm reading this Jackson section. OG stuff, man. And I've been watching Bell Collective a lot, the newest season, and they trying to bring Fair Street back. I'm hoping they can be successful with that. All right. Jackson radiated with warmth as fans gathered, their cheers bouncing off the brick buildings. Nearby, the irresistible scent of soul food drew the men into the local diner. They stopped for a quick bite. They stopped for a quick plate of fried chicken and collard greens, each bite steeped in rich flavors. Embracing the city's heartbeat, they decided to walk down Fair Street, where the soulful strains of jazz and blues spill from the midday venues, enveloping them in the afternoon's jubilant atmosphere. The locals offered handshakes and heartfelt greetings, their faces as familiar as the weathered signs above the row of shops. This was the Fair Street of lore, alive, thriving, the cultural backbone of Jackson. Afterward, they returned to the hotel, where Frankie found a quiet spot at the bar to unwind. Eli, the bartender, recognized him right away. What'll it be, boss? He asked, reaching for a glass. Double bourbon on the rocks, Frankie responded confidently. Eli selected a top shelf bourbon, pouring it smoothly into the glass. He slid the drink across the counter, casting a knowing smile in Frankie's direction. As he wiped down the bar, he remarked casually, just holler if you need anything else. As Frankie took a sip, he overheard two patrons nearby discussing a local underground club. Intrigued, he called out to Eli for more details. Eli, Jackson seems to be swinging today. Know any spots where the night keeps going? Eli threw the towel over his shoulder and leaned closer to Frankie, lowering his voice. The city's swinging every day, Daddy. I can hook you up with a few after-hours recommendations if you like. Frankie slid a generous tip across the bar, adding, I'd appreciate that. Send me off right. Eli pocketed the tip with a smile and offered some local wisdom. Keep those ears open while you're here. In Jackson, whispers carry wisdom. Listen and you'll learn, he advised, glancing around the room meaningfully. This city keeps its secrets tight and still always has something to say. Thanks, Eli. I'll remember that. Eli responded with a wink. Anytime. Let me get you those recommendations. Frankie tipped his glass in a silent toast before turning away, ready to dive into the night. As the evening settled in, Frankie rallied his band. Today, Jackson's bared his soul to us, he declared, his voice alive with passion. Let's respond in kind. Tonight we shake 'em down. Leave it all on the stage. Be focused. No mistakes. Their journey to the venue was electric, the city's rich musical legacy giving them a sense of belonging. Inside the cozy club, the place was brimming with energy. Frankie thrived in these settings, often slipping away to observe his surroundings. He found joy in watching people, observing their enthusiasm and eagerness. I'm going to keep going. Just a little, just these two more sections. As the ensemble warmed up, Frankie noticed two locals casting a furtive glance his way, whispering nervously amongst themselves. Curious, he edged closer to the bar to order another drink, subtly eavesdropping on their conversation. One of the men eventually mustered the courage to speak. "You're Frankie Keys, aren't you?" he exclaimed, his voice tinged with awe. "We've been excited to catch your show. Heard you really like the stage up, Daddy." Grateful for the warm welcome, Frankie flashed his trademark smile. "Appreciate that. Let me get you fellas another round," he offered, signaling to the bartender. The men accepted the drink with evident gratitude, their voices rising to compete with the background music as they resumed their conversation. Frankie, drink in hand, leaned in to listen as the topic shifted to a mysterious figure in South Louisiana. They spoke of a shadow broker offering top-shelf liquor at a steal. "Just imagine, $50 a crate," one of them mused. "It's risky to fetch it, sure, but that's the kind of come-up that will get you rich." Frankie's interest was piqued, not just by the tantalizing lead, but by the implications. He pondered the risk and who might be behind such an operation, his mind racing with possibilities. "I couldn't help but overhear," Frankie interjected, masking his shrewd intent behind a veil of casual curiosity. "Where might one run into this deal? I've got a bar at my place and would love to meet this connection." The men exchanged a wary glance, but eventually relented. "South Louisiana is where you start. Just ask around and they say he'll find you." Grateful for the tip, Frankie signaled to the eclectic toreador. "Take care of these gentlemen. Craft them two of your finest cigars." The men lit up with surprise and delight. "Now that's class, Frankie," one of them exclaimed. I'm going to stop right there. Only because when I wrote about the eclectic, we should give my boy a shout out. When I wrote about the eclectic torsador, or however you say it, I think it's torsador. I had somebody in mind. I'll show y'all my boy. Show y'all my homeboy from high school, man. This my guy. So when he be with everybody. Cam. So like in the book when I'm talking about this line, perfect. So when I'm talking about this line in the book, I'm gonna read it to you one more time. Where was we just said? Right here. All right. So this is what happened. Let me break this down. So I'm reading you a section, this page 163, you brought by the book. This is from chapter 8, Southern Hospitality. This is from chapter 8, Southern Hospitality. And in this chapter, I ain't gonna tell you what happens, but at this specific point, let me see what other clip my boy got up here. Okay. This is perfect. At this specific point, Frankie is looking at these two guys in the bar. They talking, they looking his way, and he trying to, they keep looking at me. I'm curious what's happening. So he go over to him. He buy the guys a drink. He just kind of standing around watching as the venue pick up. Mind you, Frankie is a jazz musician. So he's watching as the venue is kind of peaking and picking up and stuff like that. So as he's watching them, Frankie is a bootlegger. That's one of the many things he does. The main character is a bootlegger. I ain't giving nothing away there, but just know the main character is a bootlegger. So I'm going to read this to you again. The men accepted the drinks with gratitude, their voices rising to compete with the background as they resumed their conversation. Frankie, you can't see this. Let me show y'all. Make sure you can see it. I'm tripping. Okay, now we all on the same page. All right. So, as I was saying, Frankie a bootlegger. He at the bar. These guys keep looking at him. He buy him a drink. And now they talking. And they got to talk a little bit louder to talk over the music because the music is starting to get live because the club is starting to jump. So the men accepted the drinks with evident gratitude, their voices rising to compete with the background music as they resumed their conversation. Frankie, drink in hand, leaned in to listen as the topic shifted to a mysterious figure in South Louisiana. They spoke of a shadow broker offering top shelf liquor at a steal. Just imagine, $50 a crate, one of them mused. It's risky to fetch it, sure, but that kind of come up will get you rich. Frankie's interest was piqued, not just by the tantalizing lead, but by the implications. He pondered the risk of who might be behind such an operation, his mind racing with possibilities. I couldn't help but overhear, Frankie interjected, masking his shrewd intent behind a veil of casual curiosity. Where might one run into this deal? I've got a bar at my place and would love to meet this mysterious connection. The men exchanged a weary glance, but eventually relented. South Louisiana is where you start. Just ask around, and they say he'll find you. Grateful for the tip, Frankie signaled to the eclectic torsador. Take care of these gentlemen. Craft them 2 of your finest cigars. The men lit up with surprise and delight. Now that's class, Frankie, one of them exclaimed. Energized by the exchange and the valuable information he'd gathered, Frankie felt a surge of confidence. Tonight, Jackson had transformed from just another stop on his tour into a pivotal source of information. So, like, as you can see, I kind of got this theme, man, where I like to kind of use elements that, like, I think that's any good writer. And I'm wrapping up this character spotlight, and I did the excerpt reading, but I tend to use like things and places that I've gone, people that I've met, and I draw inspiration from it. It's part of the way I write. It's part of the way I go about my process. And I try to pay homage to my people. You know what I'm saying? People that I've met, I've come across that are cool, that I think are a good time, good to interact with and stuff like that. So, you know, I just wanted to show y'all that to give you an example. I've showed you who all these characters were, but that's like a real person. And when I was writing this and I was thinking, I was like, okay, Frankie bought him a drink and they just gave him some very critical information. You'll see what he does with that information in the book. But this is critical information he's just gathered. So, you know, what would be a nice step? So I started looking up stuff, and it was like cigars was a big thing in that time. And I remember when I interviewed my guy, Anu, I interviewed him on Dirty Napkins years ago. And like in that interview, he had taught me the term torsador. And just like they roll cigars. And I think it was something to do with like Panama. It's a Panamanian term, possibly. Some, I don't know. But I don't remember rather. But anyway, I felt like, I was like, oh, this would be a good little nod to say, hey, throw him a cigar. It's an eclectic cigar roller in there. Boom, boom, boom. I thought it was player. I thought it was fire. So that's why I did that. But all things considered, that's my excerpt. Again, branding the book. It ain't nothing subtle about it. When this joint drop in 2 weeks, make sure you buy it. I'm going to have that link rolling probably by Monday. I'm going to start the real full marketing rollout, marketing push. I'm about to put some of these in the mail to some people for some early copies and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm very much looking forward to that. But now let's switch gears completely, man. I'm going to just touch on this real quick. Real quick, man. I got to touch on my Mad Cowboy segment. If you didn't know, every time I hop on stream, for the most part, I do this segment called the Mad Cowboy. The more I commit to doing the Mad Cowboy, the more I start to realize that name is perfect for the Dallas sports scene, because we just don't got it together, man. We just do not. The Cowboys never have it together. The Mavericks just traded away one of the best players of all time for literally a guy that got hurt in his first 3 segments with us. How much time we got left here on this? Within his first 2 quarters, and balled out for the first 2 quarters. Don't get me wrong now. I never thought AD was a scrub. Never thought he was a scrub. But I just sent this to my where did I get that from? I think I got that off YouTube too. I just sent this clip to this clip of this battle rapper. He took a shot at AD. He said, like Anthony Davis, you think I'm playing, but I'm pulling something. Talking about battle rapper. He was rapping against a guy. He's like, you might as well call me Anthony Davis because you think I'm playing, but I'm pulling something. And pulling is in a strap. Anyway, I thought that was like and now, okay, let me get serious here. Not even serious, but let me just get for real. Starting with the Mavericks and just the overall state of the Mavericks. I went to the protest that we had last Saturday. It was nuts. It's a lot of people out there not happy. A lot of fans out there not happy. The sentiment in Dallas around the Mavs right now is very down. I saw people that were at the Tuesday or Wednesday night game. No, yesterday was Wednesday. So that was the Warriors, which we barely beat them. We beat them. And it was a game I felt like Dallas had to have when we beat the Warriors yesterday. But in order to beat them, we needed 42 points from Kyrie. And Kyrie can give it to us, great. But oh my goodness, we cannot depend on Kyrie to give us a 40 spot every night. And teams are just going to start doubling him now. We have no big man. AD is down. Daniel Gafford is down right now with a knee sprain. Derek Lively has been down with a foot fracture. Said he's getting a second opinion on it, but he was never coming back till April. And I think they're saying Daniel Gafford is at least a month. AD, we don't know. They're trying to sugarcoat it and say 3 weeks, but let's just call that a month. And what that does for the Mavericks is it's going to put them in a very difficult situation. Difficult in the sense of they're not going to have a good record. They don't have a good record. They're not going to get into, like, you're going to at least need to get into the play-in game. Like, where are we right now? Let me just see. Let's just see where we at right now. Dallas. Make sure I'm on the right screen. Dallas Mavericks rank. So as it currently stands, we are at 8. We are 29-26 because we won yesterday, right? I think we might have played tonight. We might have had to play tonight, I think. And look at this. OKC at the top, 44-9. They've lost 9 games. The next closest, I mean, they are like on a 7-game win streak. There's so many games ahead, right? The next closest is the Grizzlies at 36-18, followed by the Nuggets. The Rockets are 34-21. The Lakers are 32-20. The Clippers are 30-23. The Timberwolves are 30-25. The Mavericks, we 29-26. We are at the 8th seed. And I can't remember how the play-in works, what seed you need to be for the play-in. Let's see. What seed do you need to be for the play-in? But we're at 8 right now. So let's see. What seeds are the play? Seven through 10. So you got to be somewhere between 7 through 10. We're at 8 now, so we have a little room for error. But I mean, we ain't got much. We do not have much room for error. I mean, very, 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 very minimal room for error. So it's just it's gonna be a slow process, man. And we got a lot of work to do. I still can't believe it. I'm going to be honest. I cannot believe we traded Luka. I just cannot. I don't think we're going to be able to get any free agents because a lot of people came here. And this was the site of AD, man. And get well soon because this is our guy. Whether we like him or not. This is our guy. And I ain't trying to be hard, man, but you trade a 25-year-old that's injury prone for Anthony Street Clothes Davis, Anthony Day-to-Day Davis, Anthony Ouch Davis. Like, you know what I mean? And like, it's rough, man. I don't know what else to say. It's rough. And it's just rough, man. But Kyrie carried us. We have literally no big man right now. The only big man we have, I don't even know his name, and I'm a huge fan. He's only played like 3-4 games with us. He just played the other night. I can't even. Who is the Mavericks only big fan? Yeah, I guess this is him. Yeah, I guess this is him. K or Butler. We had to just get him. I'm telling you, because Lively is out, Gafford is out, AD is obviously out. So I mean, it's rough in Dallas right now, man. I got nothing else to say. The GM making not the GM, the president is saying idiotic stuff about Luka. Like, just shut up, bro. It's over with. It's done. Just let it go. I mean, he sounds like an idiot, a complete idiot if we just keeping it 100. Because he's saying Luka didn't have the mentality of the greats and he's not a culture person like the greats. But he proceeds to say the greats, Kobe, MJ, Shaq, right? And Shaq is notorious. Shaq will tell you out of his own mouth, he thought the way you get into shape was to come in fat and play your way into basketball shape. That's what Shaq said out of his own mouth. MJ and Kobe are notorious for being terrible for culture. They were fighting teammates, gambling. Well, not Kobe gambling, but MJ gambling. Like, they're notorious for being bad culture, like people. Notoriously bad culture people. Winners, sure. But you try to come out and say these are the type of culture people? Like, nah, bro. Come on. Just stop it, man. Just stop it, dog. You sound crazy. And I just don't like this whole smear campaign that we trying to run on Luka. Like, after all he gave to Dallas and y'all traded the man away, he was buying a $15 million house. Like, that whole situation, I just don't like the smear campaign. So I'm just still hot with him. I think I'm just gonna ride, man. I'm gonna stay down. Bro. I'm gonna stay down, I guess. Like, it was easy. This is making it hard to be a Cowboys fan. It's a perfect segue. It's making it hard. And I feel bad for Nico. I talked a lot of crap about Nico early on, and I still think it was an idiotic trade. I think it was idiotic. But I feel bad because, like, he is really the most hated man in Dallas right now. Like, he had to beef up security. I just saw a clip where he went to a SMU basketball game. I hear they was booing him at the SMU basketball game. SMU is a private, rich college in Dallas. They were booing him at that game. Like, it's nah. It's bad for him, man. It's bad for him. And it ain't just him. Like I said, you don't trade that guy. You don't trade Luka without buy-in from the very top. So I think Nico is the fall guy. If this don't work out, he's definitely lost his job. But I think he knew that when he made the trade. Like, you know, if you trade Luka and it does not work out, your job is toast. And you don't get another job in the NBA. But there's a lot of people around the league that said he really don't want to be a GM anyway. So, I mean, at the end of the day, what does it really even matter? But that segues me perfectly to these doggone Dallas Cowboys, man. Perfectly to these Dallas Cowboys. To which CD Lamb just came out and said, let me see if I can pull this up. To which CD Lamb just came out and said this.
Who has a more passionate fan base?
Like, come on, bro. Come on, CD.
The Eagles or the Cowboys?
I can answer that.
Eagles.
Eagles?
They're crazy. Our Cowboys, our fans are deep, but
Look at how Derrick Henry looking at him. Derrick Henry looking at him like, bro, don't do this.
Who has a more passionate fan base? The Eagles or the Cowboys?
I can answer that.
Eagles.
Eagles?
They're crazy. Our Cowboys, our fans are deep, but they not. I don't want to say nothing crazy, but the Eagles got it.
Welcome to the Dallas Cowboys team culture, where you don't even think your fans. You don't think your fan like. Let's listen to the question.
Who has a more passionate fan base?
Who has a more passionate fan base. Passionate fan base. Okay.
Eagles or the Cowboys?
Passionate fan base. I am a Dallas Cowboy fan of all of 4 years now. 4 years. 4 years. I know Cowboys fans who have been down the entire time. Now, that's not making them passionate. For these people to show up week in, I'm talking about Cowboys fans. For these people to show up week in and week out, knowing there is no chance in double E hockey sticks that we are winning a Super Bowl, that's passion. Some would call it ignorant. Some would call it crazy. Some would call it a whole lot of other things. But brother, these people, we have not been back to the NFC Championship game in 30 years. 3-0. The last team in the NFC that has not been back to the NFC Championship game. 3-0. And it ain't changing no time soon. It ain't going to change no time soon, right? I would argue that they are probably more, not rambunctious. If she said who's more rambunctious, yeah, maybe Eagles for sure. But passionate, them Eagles fans are passionate. But boy, it's easy to be passionate when the gravy train is rolling, when it's free gravy for everybody. I'm talking the Cowboys ain't been back in 30 years, and they still packing out every home game. And up until these last 2 years, they were drinking the Kool-Aid every year. It's our year. We going to the Super Bowl. This is the one. We back. We back. We back. And we 1-done. And we don't make it. And we 8-8. And we 8-9. And we 9-8. Oh, we 12-4, bounced in the first round. You know what I mean? Like, and I love CD. One of my favorite wide receivers. Wish I had him on my dynasty team. Love him. Love the brother. But I don't know. But he got the right to say whatever the heck he want to say. But you can just look at how Derrick Henry looking at him. Like, brother, be very careful here. Be very careful. Here's what Henry's saying. You know. But what else? What else can I say about these Cowboys right now? What else can I say about these Cowboys right now? They talking about trading Micah. I mean, I would think Micah might get traded just because I don't believe that Jerry likes being outdone as a bad owner. I think he would like to have a word at being outdone. So if the Mavericks gave up Luka for AD and a first, I think Jerry probably moved Micah for maybe like A-Rod and a sixth. That seemed like something Jerry would do. I'm all in. I'm ready to rock and roll. We ready to roll it. That like whoever A-Rod signed with, we'll not get him. This is very Jerry-ish. We'll not sign him while he's a free agent. Jerry will wait for him to sign with like he won't sign with the Steelers, but we'll wait for him to sign with some team, just whatever team. We just wait for him to sign first when we got a chance to get him now. And I'm being very what's the word I'm looking for? Facetious? Is that the word? I don't know. But we'll wait for him to sign with a team. And once he signs with said team, that's the point where Jerry would then say, you know who will push us over the top? A-Rod. And at that point, Jerry would then proceed to say, I'll give you Micah and a second for A-Rod right now. Straight up, done deal. Let's do it. And whoever got A-Rod would say, yeah, he's yours. Take him. You get what I'm saying? And then Jerry would come tell us, the second passionate fan base of the Eagles, will come tell us what a steal he got on A-Rod. For A-Rod to come, not paying out, and retire, and we lost Micah for nothing. That concludes my segment of the Mad Cowboy. I don't have the propensity right now to talk about the Rangers. Honestly, I don't even know what they're doing. I don't even know if baseball has started, to be honest with you. I'll get into it more and more. I at least wanted to touch on this segment just a tad. But Outside of us talking about trading Micah, I wouldn't be shocked. Because that's what I was getting at. The Mad Cowboys segment is just perfect for Dallas sports because these people are crazy. They don't know what they're doing. They rich people. They got money, but they have no idea what they're doing with sports teams. And don't take that from me as if I know what I'm doing with a sports team. I just know what a good sports team looks like. I was a Patriots fan for years, so I understand what a dynasty and building a good roster and team and culture looks like, none of which we have in Dallas, and I'm watching the very thing we had in the Mavericks fade away. So that's where this whole Mad Cowboy things come from, but I'm rocking with it, so I need to get me like a little graphic and stuff like that to make it make sense, and yeah, I like the Mad Cowboy, but I don't think I really have nothing else. Let's see. Cowboys news. Actually, let me go back here. Let's see. Anything else on the Cowboys we want to talk about? I would like to see us get Myles Garrett. I think that would be good. Trading up in the draft for a wide receiver. I'm not a big fan of this wide receiver class. I would just wait it out. What is this? Cowboys Michael Parsons makes call to action for Dallas to be aggressive in the offseason. We can't be aggressive if we got to pay you about $100 million. Come on now. Be real with it. Or maybe talk about getting Myles Garrett or re-sign defensive tackle. I mean, sure, but like, but let's just see what happens. I get it. Be aggressive, blah, blah, blah. I just don't think people are riding with the Cowboys, man. Like the true fans, we here for sure. But like people ain't buying it like that no more. Like we not going to the Super Bowl. Come on, man. Be honest. Like somebody said, and I ain't trying to put this on Jerry because I think he primetime TV. I think he one hell of a marketer. For you to not make the NFC Championship game and still have the brand as America's team and keep these boys this relevant for this long, that's genius. That's marketing. But I heard a true Cowboys fan. I'm talking. He been a Cowboys fan for 30 years. He said, man, we were talking. I was just venting about the Mavericks. I'm like, I can't believe we traded Luka and this and this and this and this and this and this and this. He's like, brother, calm down. How do you think I feel as a Dallas Cowboys fan for 40 years? Jerry can't die fast enough. That is the sentiment to how Cowboys fans feel. And with that, I'm done with the Mad Cowboy. All right. Let me look at my little list. So I did the Mad Cowboy. I want to start talking about current events, but like just get into it a little bit, but I can't find nothing, man. I couldn't find nothing on the net today. And so with that said, I'm skipping current events for the day. Play me a quick game of this. My rank done dropped by 100 points because I just been playing BSing. But I'm tapped in now. Let me see if I can get a win on her. But yeah, man, I'm interested in like continuing this and keeping this thing going. Know what I mean? So this one I like to wind down right here though, man. Like literally one of my favorite things to do. Play a little bit. Oh, you got the same idea, eh? that. That was good. How many points is he? I gotta start back paying attention. I can't be playing chess on stream. I be taking too much time. Out here thinking I'm like the doggone Botez twins. I don't know if y'all know who that is. Maybe. Oh, I see what's up here. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to accomplish? I don't know what I'm trying to accomplish with that. You gonna get me on time, you lucky son of a. What blunders I had. Do one more. Get off this joint. Man, I know y'all probably thinking like, oh, this dude do is lose. I'm winning this one though. I feel it. Feel it. But like the beautiful thing is, ain't nobody watching these right now, like talking about. So you really do what the heck you want to do and be cool. What are you doing? Hopefully, he missed it. Please miss it. Please miss it. Please miss it. Please miss it. Oh, he didn't miss it. Oh, I broke the Cardinal seat. Never forget. Even behind. Cardinal seat. I'm getting off of here, man. Such a dumb move. Where did I do that? Let me just resign and get up out of here, man. Hell no, I don't want to chat. And then I'm about to lose anyway. All right, man. Appreciate you tuning in to another one. Peace.